Welcome to Kill Team Casuals, a podcast all about Kill Team filmed in 3 different time zones by 3 different gents. Enjoy.
And with our lion-like roar from Russ that was possibly a yawn, the Kill Team Casuals are here. I think we might have missed that. Maybe it got cut out. But we're here. We're back to talk more Kill Team from the casual perspective, joined as always
by
the...
verbose today, Reese, aren't you? A little verbose, aren't you? Just get to it.
Let's
get it out of the way. What are you doing?
We got lots to talk about. I'm excited. Welcome to the man getting into me early. It's Ben from Battle Brothers Tabletop.
I want a hot one today, boys. I'm ready to rip into everybody. I'm ready to tear you both to shreds. Rawr. Speaking of roars, letting the big cat out today. Passing it on over. I'm not feeling good. My head is killing me. Passing it over to Russ from GFN. I'm a little loopy. Russ is a little drunk. Reese, good luck.
I'm a little drunk. I'm a little. Traffic was fun. Passing this back over to Reese. Get at it, son. Let's go.
Let's go.
I've got beetroot.
Oh,
I got a jar of beetroot.
Well,
okay, Shroot over there.
I'm not sure what English people think snacks are, but this is crazy.
Pickled beetroot. Yeah, I need to go to the shops to get better snacks.
Oh, yeah. Were they out of pickled eel? Is that why you had to do the beetroot?
No, but they're never out of pickled eel, Ben. This is England. We're not some sort of third world country. Please, there's always pickled eel. Yeah.
We're answering the big questions regarding pickled goods early. Yeah. Hello to the chat. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the chat's here for the pickled goods. A lot of legends in there.
Tell us your favorite pickled item in the chat, please. Have you ever had a pickled egg? I mean, I have, because I had it on a video once, and it was horrible. Yeah, pickled eggs. Delicious.
A big thank you to Jesse the Hobbit, who's a first-time chatter, but also first-time subscriber. G'day to the regulars in there. Drone, Gina the Sheep, Richard Warrior Princess, Primaris, Drone, at Bonetto. We've got Deep Fatty, rolling the dice, staying up to 5 a.m. to be with us. We got the legends in the chat, and we appreciate you guys being here.
Bunch of good ones in there. Hey, don't tell everybody else, but you guys are our favorite ones. Yeah.
That means you.
Else.
If you are not in the chat
We've got the best of the best. Pickled onion. I mean, pickled onion's a classic. Silver skins, love them. They're good. They're the good stuff.
Silver skin? What's a silver skin? That sounds awful.
How about pickled garlic?
Pickled garlic's good. I love garlic any way I can get it.
You've never had pickled garlic? Delicious. Mate, delicious.
Wow. Anyway. What is a silver skin? What is a pickled silver skin? I don't even know this.
It's just a type of onion. It's like a small onion, basically.
Oh.
Yeah, like pickled silver skin. Do you know, I was told this recently, and I don't know if this is correct, so I'm going to say it, apropos of nothing almost. And, if you're an empiricist, don't take this for light. I heard that the mushrooms that we eat, like button, the other different types, not shiitake, but they're all the same type of mushroom, but in different stages, apparently. I don't know if this is true.
Oh.
But chestnut, button, they're all the same type of mushroom, the same mushroom family, but in their development. Someone told me this, and you know what? I didn't fact check him. He just said it, and I was like, I don't know why someone would lie about that.
Russ isn't particularly what I would call data driven. You know what I mean, Reese?
I am though. I am data driven.
I feel like you're probably on your personal time. I feel like you're not particularly data driven.
Yeah. In my work life, very data driven. But personally, I didn't ask any follow up questions. To be fair, he told me that, and I was just like, I've got nothing. I have no follow up questions. True. I just said, and that was it. And I was just like, okay.
Did you hit him with one of the? Were you just ready to be done? Where you just hit him with a man? That's crazy.
I was like. I think I literally might have said, "Wow, that's crazy." I actually did. I was like, "That's crazy stuff. That's crazy stuff, brother." And then I just kind of
intense day at the office. The real tough day at the office. What are you guys talking about? Mushrooms and stuff. Just life cycles.
Mushrooms and stuff.
No big deal.
Life cycles.
I didn't have any follow-up questions. Otherwise, I would tell you.
Speaking of life cycles, there was an announcement today. Warcom has dropped a big article.
That is smooth.
And we need to talk about it a little bit. They have announced that there is going to be a Kill Team starter set. And we've all three of us have had a good read through. We've looked at lots of the details, what's in there, and it's quite a thorough article. It really gives you a massive overview of what's in there. You're getting like your tokens, you're getting a battlefield, you're getting MDF terrain, which is interesting. But the thing that we were talking about the most was the two teams that are in the box set. We're getting your Angels of Death.
Indeed.
We're getting some Plague Marines by the look of these stinky, nasty boys.
Boy,
I'm
not just any
excited.
Plague Marines.
Yeah, a Plague Marine kill team. Gosh, what could this possibly be? I'm so incredibly excited for this. I love Chaos as much as I can get it. I love Marines. I love, you know what? I got a bone to pick.
Please,
with
pick
all
away.
of you Warhammer enjoyers that try and act like Space Marines are for like the basic loser thing to like in 40K. Just because it's what brings people to 40K, it's what makes 40K awesome. Okay, this is my bone.
There's a reason it works.
If you're out there crapping on Space Marines, yeah. Without Space Marines, you wouldn't have Tau. You wouldn't have Sisters of Battle. You wouldn't have Imperial Guard. None of those things would exist if it were not for Space Marines. Space Marines are cool and fun and awesome, and let people enjoy those things. That's my rant over. I'm going to pick that bone real quick.
Well, it does definitely look like we're heading massively into a bit of an elite
That was Reese's version of damn, that's crazy. He just, man, that's crazy to me. It's like moving right on. It's like, yeah. And,
anyway,
what else comes in the box? We got some MDF terrain.
Oh, geez. But yeah, no, that's crazy. Seriously, that's crazy. So we're heading into the elite summer here. We've got the two teams. But from what I can see in the article, there's not too much rules-wise that we can see beyond pictures of the Plague Marines. We don't know what rules they're going to be packing, so we can only speculate. But I want to save the speculation because we've got some time. We do know more about the Angels of Death. Yeah. So I reckon today, after we did the dark side last week, I reckon today we jump into the Angels of Death and we'll have a bit of a team faction casuals review guide because definitely going to be worth jumping in and having a look because these guys are looking, I was going to say sneaky good, but that's not fair. They're still Space Marines. I think they're just going to be very good. It's not sneaky. They're just going to be good.
Solid. A solid team. You know what? Elites is a good team. Like, I think they're coming out in the best time because if you want to learn a team, I think I came too late to this realization, but Elites are the way you want to go with the new edition. I think everyone should start with Elites and graduate to a team, potentially worse, but a team with more moving parts. 3 APL, forgiving. I think when I first started learning, I used to suggest people to learn with Custodes because it's two fire teams. You were 4 models or 5 models, I think maybe 4 though. And you were solid, you were forgiving with your save, and you just basically had a low mental tax. And I think 2 teams right out of the gate that are looking pretty good are one of them Angels of Death, obviously Intercession, from the old edition, and Legionaries, both teams that are looking great. So I think it's good to start with these teams because I think these are teams that people should, if they're starting the game anew, I think it's a good team to learn the game with, basically. I think it's a solid team to learn the game with. So
absolutely,
a good time to jump in on them.
A big hello as well to Tactical Tortoise TV. Has just jumped in with rating with a party of 19. Welcome, team. We're talking Angels of Death kill team today. Now that we've got a bit of a chance with the new starter set being announced and them obviously being in that box. So let's jump in and start having a look at the team composition. A lot of people will be pretty familiar with this. If you saw last edition, if you played the Space Marines, then there was also Justin. They've kind of just jammed those 2 teams together. I think the most interesting thing straight out of the gate, though, is that you actually have strong or difficult choices with your leaders straight out of the gates. So you can take an assault intercessor, Sarge. Oh, sorry, go on, Ben.
Yep. Nope, I'm following your lead, brother. I'll shut up.
we will go into the details and talk about who are the choices we think are best as we get through the data sheets. And at the end of this, we'll sort of go in and go, here's we'll fight to make the casual guide, the casual version of the take all list for this as well. But you've got the assault intercessor sergeant. I think the interesting thing with this model though, gets the hand flamer, which
bring it back.
Yeah. I used to like the hand flamer on the intercession. I mean, it wasn't a good choice, but I liked it. Like, yeah, I think it looked good. Plus, you could take it with the power fist, couldn't you?
Exactly.
So I always liked it that way. You know what? And I don't want to go straight into what this team is missing, but I'm gonna talk about it because people want to know. People want to know what this team is missing, and you know what this team is missing? That the heavy Thunderhammer. People, can we talk about the lack of a heavy Thunderhammer? It's not there. It's not there, people.
This is the Death Kill team, not the Death Watch Kill team.
Yeah.
I used to love it, though. Everyone used to love that double-handed Thunderhammer with the boy.
Oh, yeah, brother.
I used to love that.
Oh, yeah.
It's not there anymore.
At least they went halfway. They did meet you halfway. There is the Thunderhammer, maybe I guess of the one-handed variety.
Yeah. They did bring the cool. Thunderhammer back. It looks cool. It's not cool. It's objectively a bad.
Out for the moment of silence there we just had for the Thunderhammer.
I think it is.
Here's the thing. If you're gonna do
it hits on fours.
Which is a bummer. Anything that hits on fours is basically without auto retains. It's like pass. Sorry. We're gonna have to pass on this one. Let's circle back later. We're gonna have to pass on this.
Yeah. But anyway, let's go back to the choices. Let's not dwell, Reese. I can't believe you're dwelling on this.
Sorry,
let's not dwell, Reese, on what's not there. Let's talk about what is there. Yeah, come on, man. Bring it together.
I'm going to tap you. Primaris Painter in the chat made a great point. Where's the jump pack? Just saying.
Oh, you know what that is?
I would love that.
That is a good point. I'm glad someone's here raising good points.
Yes, that's
because Reese certainly isn't doing it. So where are the jump packs? That would be awesome. Anyway, two things that aren't here: jump packs, heavy Thunderhammers.
Combine the two, you got a stew going, baby. Next up, we got the Intercessor Sergeant. So this is one he can take the auto bolt rifle, or stalker bolt rifle, and then close combat options: chainsword, fists, fisticuffs, power fist, power weapon, or Thunderhammer. So interesting that the Intercessor Sergeant can take a lot of those close combat options as well. I would have thought maybe there might have been less on the table for the Intercessor Sergeant, but that's an interesting little something. And then, of course, lastly, you've got the Space Marine Captain. And I think he does have just the one loadout, which is the plasma pistol and power fist. So he's locked in with his loadout. Once you've chosen your leader, you can only take one of those operatives. You have to make a choice. Then you're building your team from 5 other Angels of Death. You've got the Assault Intercessor Grenadier, the Assault Intercessor Warrior, Eliminator Sergeant, Sniper, or the Heavy Intercession Gunner.
Yeah.
You have to make a tough choice there. No double heavy weapons or big guns, which is, I think, very interesting.
I've got a hot take. I think it's an easy choice. We'll get there. Not yet.
You think it's an easy choice? Okay.
I actually think so too. If what I remember has happened, which is the most ridiculous wording error ever, but we'll talk about that later. But I also agree with you. But anyway, carry on.
We've got another form of Intercessor Gunner, which is basically the Intercessor with the auxiliary grenade launcher. And then you've got standard Intercessor Warriors. So only the Warriors can be taken more than once. And as we mentioned, you've got to choose between the Sniper and the Gunner. And the archetypes, I can't remember last edition. Ben, you may know. Russ, I'm assuming you don't. Archetypes, security, security, and seek and destroy. Is that the same as last edition?
Correct. Yep.
Yes,
all good options. Seek and destroy.
Two solid choices. Yeah.
Yeah. Overrun is good. There's some good stuff in security. Champion's a trap, I feel like, a lot of the time. But yeah, good stuff. Especially for this team. I feel like Champion's a big old trap, even worse than other teams. But yeah. Yep.
So the faction rules here, these are the interesting. We got obviously the update, which is the Astartes, which we talked about last week with the Legionaries. Nice. What do you guys think? I mean, I think this is, I'm very happy that they've just done this as a standard thing, regardless of good guy, bad guy, Space Marines. Ben, what take us through it?
Yep, I love this. This is what's going to give you all of your flavor for this team because there's no like salamander kill team, iron hands kill team. There's none of that, but it's better than that because you can sort of build. If you want to be thematic, you could, or if you just want to min max and be, min max the broken, you can do that as well, which is what we're going to do, right? So you have a primary chapter tactic and a secondary chapter tactic, and those matter which is which, because one, your secondary can be changed out later for a cost of some determined value that I don't know off the top of my head. But so you have 8 of them, and so you have aggressive, right? This operative's melee weapons have rending. Rending is always good. You don't have this team has. So before we get into it, this team is not pure explosive raw power like legionaries would be. Although like there's plenty of power here. They have a lot of volume and a lot of reliability. You're going to get, if you're smart, you're going to get rerolls everywhere you need them, and have CP to do it, even if, even more than just the free ones you get. So this is just a good, reliable, solid, sturdy team. And so you have aggressive. So melee weapons have the wending weapon wool. Yeah,
wending weapon wool. Oh, whoa.
For me, actually, I kind of like to be aggressive with my Angels of Death kill team. So I prefer to have wending.
You sound just like that guy from, what you call it? The Big Bang Theory. I can't remember the guy's name, but the guy who speaks like that.
Yeah.
Oh, he sounded just like him for a second.
And then we have Dueler, moving on. Once per sequence, whenever this operative is fighting or retaliating, one of your normal successes can block one unresolved critical success, unless the enemy operative's weapon has the brutal rule. Or one of your critical successes, this is spicy, can block 2 unresolved normal successes.
Yeah, that's a lovely one.
Spicy. Only do it once per interaction, but let's be honest, you only need to do a double parry once per action.
That's
getting you most of the damage,
Coming to number 3, Resolute. Russ, some great ASMR pudding cup action you got going on there.
One man, one
Resolute.
cup.
This one is the spicy one. To me, this is my primary. You can ignore any changes to this operative's APL stat. No other elite teams have access to this anymore. This is a Angels of Death thing now. So for me, this is my primary spoilers. This is so good. Number 4, Stealthy. Good. Whenever an operative is shooting this operative, if you retain any cover saves, you can retain 1 additional cover save, or you can retain 1 cover save as a critical success instead. So it's sort of like a camo cloak sort of thing.
It's pretty cool.
This is not cumulative with improved cover saves from vantage terrain. Number 5 is Mobile. Ooh, this one is so interesting. I love this. This operative can perform.
I love this from the previous edition.
Yeah, I think it got better too. I think it was.
It used to be called Raiders, but it's slightly better now.
Yeah, from the fallback action for 1 less AP.
That's
fine, boring, lame. The cool part: this operative can perform the charge action while within control range of an enemy operative, and can leave that operative's control range to do so. But then normal requirements for that move apply. Very cool.
Funky.
I think there's a lot,
especially with
really
counteract.
Cool. Yeah,
real funky with counteract
a lot
as well.
Going on here.
Yeah.
Hardy, number 6. Whenever an operative is shooting this operative, defense dice results of 5 up are critical successes. That's great.
Pretty nice.
That's awesome.
Pretty nice. Yeah.
That is a good, safe, cool choice.
Solid.
Number 7, Sharpshooter. Whenever this operative is shooting during an activation in which it hasn't performed the charge, fallback, or reposition action, its bolt weapons have the severe weapon rule. I think this one's a little bit lame. Gonna be honest.
Yeah, so that feels like one of the weaker ones straight out the gate, doesn't it? I'm like, the sacrifices to get the rule are pretty hurtful when you want it. You're gonna want to be mobile.
I was gonna say it feels like
play style. Like maybe there's a security tack up play style where you just like a very Imperial Fist and you set up and you gun people down, but like
I think that's it. That's the flavor. It's the Legion flavor. If you're like, I'm Imperial Fist, so I would put up a defensive position. Whereas realistically, you like unless like if you get turn 1, activation 1, turn 2. You're probably going to have to need to move to be able to shoot anyone. So you're not going to be able to get it. Whereas if you had something else, I don't know, it just feels like it's not always going to be something you can do straight away. And it's all.
I think the next one is the Imperial Fist one.
I think you're right. Yeah.
I mean, that's a great one as well. Take this one over it.
This operative's range weapons have the saturate weapon rule, which is no cover from last edition.
That's lovely.
Good. Yeah, so all of these, you look at all of these and go, oh, I know how I'd use that. So that's cool. Do you guys want to talk about which ones you take now, or do you want to wait till later for that?
Well, I want to go back slightly,
please,
to Astartes, because I think Reese asked at the beginning. He was like, "What do we think of the Astartes rule?" And I just want to cover it because obviously there's a bunch of teams that now have the Astartes rule, which is Legionaries, Nemesis Claw, and the leader of the Scout Squad actually does have the Astartes, which is actually amazing because then you can run them as if they were Space Wolves, and you can make a Space Wolf veteran be your leader, and it's like thematically it works, so it's like lovely. But the one difference, the one extra little spicy bonus that the Angels of Death have is that they can shoot twice with the old heavy bolter and or the bolt sniper rifle. So if it's shoot action, a bolt weapon must be selected for one of them. And if it's a bolt sniper rifle or heavy bolter, it's just one additional AP if both actions use that weapon. So technically, if you are playing Imperial Fists and you sharpshoot a siege specialist it up and you're stationary and you've got 2 shots, you know what? If you've got that with a heavy gun and you can spend 3 APL to shoot twice with them, that is lovely. And that is such a nice little, it's such a nice little rule to have a little extra, because I think they have taken it away where most of the teams no longer can shoot the heavy, like a weapon of that caliber. I don't know what the caliber would be, missile caliber almost basically, but you can't really shoot them twice, whereas this specifically Angels of Death can, but with an extra APL on that second shoot, which is a funky little thing. They are Astartes, they should be doing the impossible, and that's a funky little rule.
As they've also obviously got, I still really love this, the Angels of Death thing, and obviously for all elite teams as well, having the fact that they can counteract regardless of order as well. Obviously, other teams have to be in engage. Being able to do that while still in conceal, that is, turn 1, extra movement, repositioning mission actions later in the game, the extra shenanigans you can get up to is going to be very, very big.
I mean, you can use it at the end of your turn 1 as well. If you're like, well, I'm playing a team that's not elites and I can get into a position where I can shoot. So I want an overact. I can flip a guy to engage, move him out, shoot. There's only 1 activation coming back at me before he is then counteracting and maybe shooting twice. And you don't reduce the ballistic skill. So maybe if you position it well and play it well, you might want to do it because you probably still want to play quite cagey with your elite models, because I assume if you're playing a competent player, they're going to keep their big AP weapons back last. But if they don't, and you want to punish that fool at the local copy shop, move him out, shoot once, flip to engage, shoot again and counteract, and just, watch the color drain as you, shoot a lot with some sort of, hitting on 3s, 3-4 damage, saturate, I don't know, whatever rules you've taken. It's quite interesting.
So I think you were saying, Ben, I think I like the idea. Let's quickly check what's a combo that you like. What's a primary, secondary you'd look at, and we'll go around the table here.
Okay, so I look at these, and my heart, my Angels of Death team that I've sort of started on, been working on for a little while, is going to be. I've ended up going with a White Scars theme for them. So I look at that and I think, okay, aggressive and dueler sounds freaking awesome. Dueler mobile sounds awesome. There's a lot of really cool things to sort of spec out thematically. But for me, Resolute is going to be number 1. No matter what build I'm doing, Resolute. It's the old, last edition Nurgle Legionaries could ignore APL modifiers, but now that is gone from Legionaries. Legionaries don't have that, so they can be stunned. If this is a team that you can rush forward, and because I'll think about this, you're gonna get value from it into every matchup, because every team can take stun grenades now because it is a generic equipment. So I'm going Resolute for sure, and then after that, I might go aggressive. Just to twist the knife a little harder. But if I wasn't going to do that, so I also like the idea of running mostly assault intercessors. We'll get there, I'm sure. But it'd be maybe Resolute or maybe Stealthy. Stealthy's so I'm basically just turning them into Nurgle Legionaries at that point from last edition.
I'm sensing a theme.
But I might go Resolute and Stealthy, or Resolute Hardy. You kind of put it together. Anything that's not shooty, I like, because that's just my play style. But if I had to, I'll stop waffling and I'll pick. We're gonna go Resolute, and I'm gonna lock in. Gosh, because if you're going melee heavy, it's cover saves. How often are you gonna actually be behind cover? So I'm gonna go Resolute aggressive, and then since aggressive is my secondary, you can spec that out to the matchup. So I'm going to go resolute and aggressive.
I think that's great.
Russ, what about you? Have you got a same, or have you got your own thoughts here?
I'm going to go different. Kobushi, just to make it interesting. So I've been building raptors, and I want to play them thematically, which is why I know we'll get into the whole Eliminator, sniper, or heavy gunner. And I obviously I don't think this is the best choice, but thematically, I feel like I have to take the sniper just because it feels like raptor.
It's the best.
Well, you think that's the best choice? Interesting. Oh, we'll get into it, but I want to take the sniper. Later. Yeah, and I think stealthy fits in with the Raptors. Very kind good. They're kind of like everyone's got a cover save. They're quite stealthy, and I know they do have like close combat kind of utility in the books and everything like that. But in my mind, my squad's quite stealthy. So I was thinking personally, I would go for a resolute and stealthy, just because I do kind of agree resolute with the prevalence of stun, and it can sort of derail your team if you get stunned in elites, because you really need them to be able to double kill. And if they get stopped and you're sort of like, well, I want to be able to move, shoot, or if you've got aggressive, charge, fight, shoot, then charge into the thing you've already shot and then fight. You know what I mean? It kind of like, you need to be able to get it. So I think I would still go resolute as my main, just because it is strong. And then stealthy, but yeah, just to pad out the canon of the team a little bit more, in line with what I think they would be like. But how about you? How are you going to be taking your golden, your
Celestial Lions?
The Celestial Lions. I mean, how would they fight? What are their chapter tactics?
Celestial Lions. Thanks, boys. Yes, they'll be the ones. I thematically with my Celestial Lions, I always think of them because they're a chapter that's in decline.
I just hear loins when you say that.
Celestial Lions,
yes. Reese's Celestial Loins is like...
Reese's Loins are very celestial, let me tell you that.
Oh, yeah.
It's not said enough.
It's a heavenly body. Oh, yeah.
Leaning into their lore would definitely be. I like the idea that
we have to stop because Deep Fatty has just had a message held for sex-based items because he's written Celestial Loins. I'm going to allow it. There it is. It's allowed. We're allowing
Celestial Loins is always allowed in our chat.
Celestial Loins.
I can't wait to make that t-shirt.
Yes. Love it. Carry on, Reese.
So thematically for my boys, I like the idea that it's, they're a much reduced chapter. They're fighting for survival. So I want to go. They need to stay alive. So leaning into things that are going to be a bit more defensive. So I like the idea of hardy. So that's going to help them move up the board. I think that 5 up plus for the crit saves is really nice.
So good. I love it.
And I think Jeweler is the other one I would take because having that ability to reduce a lot of damage or really control the flow of that combat. If you're into a non-combat team, you can definitely afford to give up one crit or one reg to basically parry them out. But against other harder hitting teams too, again, just being able to slow their roll and keep your guys alive for a little bit longer, especially with only 6 models. I'd probably go, Jeweler and Hardy for me.
Yeah. I think I'd be pretty good against those elite hard-hitting teams as well. If you went heavy assault and managed to hit combat, because obviously you both will be, if you've reduced the numbers, I think that's going to really help you out in combat. So you've got the hardy to stay alive and shooting, and then when you hit combat, you're just like ultimate durable. It's like good Nurgle Marines, basically, isn't it?
Yeah.
I like that.
These guys can't be throwing bodies away. They can't be Marine. They can't afford it. They're down to the last few, so we've got to keep everyone alive. But it still lets you it still encourages you to push up and get into close combat, and that helps you get there as well.
Be a frustrating team to play against. Just carry out.
Just think about lethal 5s on all your saves. Really is so good. And that's why it's so hard. That's why Resolute has to be my main, because like aggressive and dueler and stealthy and hardy, like all of those are such good options. I want to be able to have all of them. It's hard to pick.
Well, let's jump in quickly to the faction equipment. Let's just touch on that as well, and then we'll have a look at the ploys, because the ploys will tie in a little bit as well with some of those options as you were just talking about as well, Ben. But the equipment's I think we've seen a lot of this sort of equipment options before. I don't think there'll be anything here that's crazy surprising.
Yeah.
We've got purity seals. So once per turning point, when a friendly operative is shooting, fighting, or retaliating, if your roll 2 or more fails, you can discard 1 and retain 1 as a success.
Yeah. This is Chaos Talisman, but just better. So much better because you don't have to take
nice.
mortal wounds. Yeah, awesome. When you whiff, and I love this because as a design space, it's not like here's another reroll. But what does suck, like, man, sometimes to whiff as an elite team, especially last edition, was devastating. So having something built in that's not a reroll, because like that's such a at some point, like this team has so many rerolls. It's like it's a nice non-lazy way to give them some. I love it. Love it.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Nice.
I think it's a solid, almost auto. I mean, I don't know if it's an auto take, but it's like having insurance. You just like, I will minimum be hitting with 2, regardless of what happens, basically.
Now, speaking of auto takes, I've got to interrupt and I've got to counteract this podcast and talk about the chapter reliquaries, because this is what makes me want to play this team right here. You can use the Wrath of Vengeance firefight ploy for 0 CP if the specified friendly operative has an engage order. So we'll get there, but basically that's a ploy that allows you to do 2 actions on your counteract. So, and you normally have to spend a CP for it. So this lets you once per turn. Right? Is this a once per game or once per turn? Oh, I think it's just holy crap. Yeah, it's just a firefight.
It's once per firefight phase. Yeah.
So once per turn. One of your guys, Justin,
4 times.
Whatever, 2-inch charge and fight. Or if you're already in combat, fight and then shoot. Holy cow! It's
fight,
so
shoot, fight, bop.
Yeah.
So many good. So many
in an elite
options.
team. That's crazy powerful.
Yeah.
Super good. I think that is an auto take, if I'm honest. That is just, I mean, you can do it for a CP, obviously, every turn anyway, but being able to do it for free.
Yeah.
I mean,
in my opinion, this is why you play this team over something else, is because you can have once per turn a very spicy counteract.
Yeah. I mean, that's man alive. That's almost a double kill if you play it right. If you're in an operative, that's like a kill shoot. That's a double kill in a counteract. Man alive, it could be rough. Yeah.
You can have one operative in that turn. Yeah, literally get like 4 kills.
4 kills.
Makes me
game over. Excited. I would just be like, good game. GG. See you later. I've let that happen. That's a fool. Yeah.
We got tilting shields up next. So once per turning point, when a friendly operative is fighting or retaliating, after your opponent rolls their attack dice, you can use this rule. If you do, your opponent cannot retain attack dice of less than 6 as critical successes during the sequence. So no lethal.
I mean, I really like this.
Severe.
It's such a nice little move to do against certain operatives, because everyone's got that operative. Like you've got the scout hunter that crits on
lethal 3
crits. Yeah, you've got the screamer, the screecher who's hitting on. If you're taking any damage, he's lethal 4. And it's like, you know what? No, because they build their combat around that guy being able to deliver 12 damage in 2 hits, and you're like, you know what? No, a tilting shield it's a nice little soft FU to those models that are geared up to do double crit damage for I mean, obviously they could still roll 6s, so it's not a guarantee, but it's nice.
Yeah, It happens after they roll dice. So
yeah, that's the best bit. So you can decide afterwards. You can be like, "Oh, did you get all crits? Did you?" No.
Today.
Not today.
Lastly, we've got Orspec. So once per turning point, when a friendly angel's death operative performs a shoot action and you're selecting a valid target, you can use this rule. If you do, until the end of the activation counteraction, enemy operatives within 8 of that friendly operative cannot be obscured. Anything that gets rid of obscured, very good.
It's great again. Yeah, I mean, it works. The thing is, it'll work for, I assume it'll work for Night Lords as well, because you got to be within 6, but you don't. You're within 8 and they're not obscured. I don't know how the rules would counteract, but it's just sort of like, it's lovely. Because obscured is so rough. I mean, it's not rough. It's great. I love it. But like, you can't get those 6s if you need to deliver mortal wounds.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just lovely. It's a lovely little bit to make sure that you're shooting with that bolt gun, maybe twice. Yeah, I mean, it's just good.
Yeah, great, awesome.
One thing I'm really liking
it's the end of the activation as well, so
yeah,
you can shoot twice with it.
One thing I'm really liking about the equipment in general, not just for this team, but so many of the teams, it's actually, like, I think there's a lot of hard and good choices to make now, like, because it's really good universal equipment.
Definitely.
There's always 2 or 3 things most teams will definitely be considering. And then you look at those 4, and, like, yes, there's probably 2 real big standouts, but there's always an argument for the others as well. And I think that's a really good thing. I think in the last edition, it was like, I'm just taking this one thing or these 2 bits of equipment, and that was it. Everything else was a bit of a waste.
Yeah, I really like it. I think they're 4 solid faction equipment choices, to be honest. You can see a utility in all of them. I mean, Chapter Reliquary, you're going to use it. I mean, even if it's just moving and bopping a point after an object, like after a counteract, it's going to be useful, and that might get you something extra. And with 3 APL, if you're just shy of getting to an objective, being able to be like, oh, I'll do it for free, move, not within combat, so you don't even need to charge, move and loot as the last activation in the counteract, it's just great. I think they're all real solid. I can see a scenario where you need them all, basically, which is bad, because I would just take them. I'd be like, give me all the faction stuff.
By default, I think you just run all 4. If they don't have any lethal 5, then you can drop tilting shields. But like, I think
that's the only thing.
You just take all of it, and it's easy.
Yeah, I think if in a way it makes it easier for the equipment. You just like faction equipment. What do you need? It's all good.
Why do you need a ladder? You're not going to put your Eliminator up at the very tippy top of Vulcus. Like, that's a stupid place to be. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to need a ladder. You probably don't. Maybe you need stun grenades. Probably not. But like, you're not going to take a freaking crack grenade because you already get those. Spoiler alert on this. So like, it's just I think by default you just take all 4. It's awesome.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, let's jump in and have a look at the strategic and the firefight ploys. Russ, have you got them there? Do you want to take us through the first one? Or do you
So let's go through strat ploys. So we've got obviously these kind of, some of them sound a bit familiar and some of them won't be from the previous edition. So we've got the classic, we've got a combat doctrine. So basically you select one of the combat doctrine below and you've got 3. This is basically the old, this was split into 3. I love this. This is much nicer. They split the old 3 separate strat ploys into 1 strat ploys. So you can pick your combat doctrine. So you've got the Devastator, which is shooting more than 6 inches from it. You get the balanced rule, and then you get balanced if you're shooting within for the tactical doctrine, and then assault is you get balanced if you're fighting or retaliating. So it's the same 3 just boiled into 1, because you could never run one with another anyway, so might as well have them as 1. So that is nicely cleaned up as 1, and it's a solid choice. It makes your shooting that much more reliable. It gives you another chance. I know Ben said you get a lot of rerolls, but it's solid. The hitting on 3s, counteracting on 3s, you know what I mean? It's solid choice. You've got They Shall Know No Fear, the classic. You can ignore changes to the stats. So if you're injured, for example, and again, the fact that it's kind of Nurgle. It's like across the board. It's quite nice. This was what you used to have, where you could be like, look, no one's going to be injured. They have obviously specified, I think it used to impact APL as well, which now it doesn't, because obviously that is a chapter tactic in itself.
Yeah, I was going to actually ask you that. Okay, yep. So it doesn't. So it does ignore that.
I'm pretty sure that this is just the stats. So I think this almost feels like turn 3 and 4 you will be running, and They Shall Know No Fear both turns, possibly, depending on how bad things have gone, I guess. But you're definitely running in turn 4. Yeah, turn 1, Reese is dropping this bad boy.
I think sometimes preemptively you put it up turn 2, honestly.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's coming. So you're like, okay, they're going to alpha strike me. I put it up turn 2. But I could see easily spending 3 CP a turn to have this up and running, because it's just so solid. You're never going to be injured. You are going to be injured in terms of your movement. No stats are not implied. No, so basically, you're never going to be slowed down. You're never going to be injured. If you've taken the chapter tactic to make sure you're APL, basically, it means you are untouchable. You are a plague marine, effectively. You've got adaptive tactics, which we did talk about. So it makes you a little bit more flexible, essentially, in your team, which is the fact that you can flex this a little bit is just super good, just because it means you can tailor, because you have to come to the table with your primary and secondary chapter tactic kind of in mind, especially your primary, but you can change your secondary with chapter tactic only for the end of the turning point. So you have to have an original one obviously selected, and then you can flex this one out for a turn. But it doesn't say that you can only run it once, so you could potentially do this. I mean, it feels like a waste if you're doing this every turn. Just pick a better secondary, but you could, in theory. Yeah, I was going to say, just stick to your guns, have a game plan. Yeah. But this does mean that if things are going badly and you're like, oh my God, I am just being abandoned by the dice, and you're just like, let's just play a different type of game, change it so you get the stealthy cover save. If you can't roll a save to save your life, just be like, oh, I'm taking stealthy now as my secondary because I need to be able to not have to roll these dice. I just need to take cover saves. But super good to flex your team. And then we've got Indomitus. Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, it'd be pretty cool too, like even in that turn one, like do something to pump up your defensive saves like we were talking about some of those combos before, like have hardy and stealthy on in turn one, because you've got one of those, your primary, change your secondary, and then that one of them flips back to your jeweler or mobile or something in turn two.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I think it's great. I think it's great because those chapter tactics are awesome, and being able to use more than just two in a game, more than three if you want to, it's great.
Yeah. There's a use case that I can just already see in my brain right now is it's turn 3, turn 2, you have mobbed a bunch of people. Maybe you have hidden in combat, right?
Yes.
With like 2 or 3 assault intercessors, and you're in the mid board. So instead of going aggressive, you swap out for like mobile or something. And now all of a sudden, you're just in their back line, tying up their gunners, like just eating everybody. And for CP, so I freaking love it. This is why Space Marines are so cool. On the fly, just adapting. It's cool and thematic. Like you are playing Space Marine 2 on the tabletop. It's very cool.
I think that's it. I think it's how because I know they are the golden child. They are they're the best at everything. Engineered to be the best at everything, and you do kind of want that to translate in the game. You want to be like, oh, I'm in combat with an orc. I should be able to, as part of the guy's thumbing through his Codex Astartes, fall back and shoot him twice. I should be able to do that. Why can't I? You can. You're going to flip the tactics from your aggressive stance to mobile, so you can, it's just great. It's very thematic, and it means you can play around with I think it just means that you can potentially get to know the team a bit quicker as well, because you can try out more of their rules during a game. You'd be like, oh, I'll try this for this turn, see if this goes. It's a nice little extra. And the final one, we have Indomitus. So every time an operative is shooting whenever an operative is shooting a friendly Angel of Death operative, if you roll 2 or more fails, you can discard 1 and retain the other as a normal success. So it's essentially the equipment, but against being shot effectively. So it's the reverse of the equipment. This time you're being attacked. So instead of the purity seals helping you when you're shooting, this helps when you're being shot. So it's very useful.
Think of the ways it can stack with some of those tactics too, like your traits as well.
If you've already got 2 cover saves, you take I don't know. It's good. It's a nice little one, and the fact that it's a strategic ploy or a gambit means it's not worldwide, but it's team wide for that turn. So it's pretty good. I can see you dropping that in the turn 1 in which you potentially getting shot. If you want to really be like, I am not getting hurt this turn, you've taken stealthy, you've taken Indomitus, you're just like, I will live. I don't know why you would take Indomitus and stealthy, because you'd probably be retaining both cover saves anyway, but you retain the crit and then you roll the other 2. Retain the crit, roll the other 2. It doesn't matter if I failed, if you fail them both, don't worry, I've got another one. But, that's maybe overkill. That's belt and braces right there, but people do it.
The same person who did that is going to need the firefight ploy adjust doctrine. Yeah. This is I feel like this is a really bad investment. Move on to firefight ploys. I think
go through it. Yeah.
I think it's hilarious. Like sometimes it's going to be really good and that it's useful, but basically, if you were a dum and you picked the wrong combat doctrine for yourself, and you feel like spending a CP to even worsen the decision, you can have your assault intercessor get a 1 reroll in melee. God, this is so crazy. So think about it. Maybe
it's kind of weird.
Let me walk this back. Use this firefight ploy during a friendly Angel of Death operative's activation. Before or after it performs an action. If you could have used the combat doctrine strategic ploy this turning point, if you've used the combat doctrine ploy this turning point, change the combat doctrine ploy you selected. So if you wanted balance, because it's balance, right? It's not ceaseless. Yeah. So
it's stupid. It's a 1 dice reroll. Just use attack op reroll, right?
Yeah, I'll say Please don't do this, guys.
Don't ever use this. This is the only redundant. Yeah, this is the only redundant one, I think.
Yeah, it should just say adjust doctrine. Spend 1 CP to use the CP reroll ploy for free. That's basically what this is doing for you.
Yeah, unless there's something that stacks strangely that you haven't seen. There might be something that stacks with it, but it does seem to be just essentially, just use a reroll. You get balanced.
Maybe, or so like here's the situation. Right? If you're gonna shoot twice, it's 2 rerolls. If you're gonna fight twice, it's 2 rerolls.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there is cases.
There you go. You've just highlighted it.
Yeah. Just pick the right combat doctrine. That's the bottom line. Sorry, that's my little filibuster.
It's a bit niche, that one.
Yeah. It's a niche one. Reese is so politically correct over here. It's very niche. You're so right.
It's not stupid. It's niche.
Yeah. Transhuman physiology uses firefight ploy when an operative is shooting a friendly Angel of Death operative. In the roll defense dice step, you can retain one of your normal successes as a critical success instead. This is great. This is the difference between living and dying sometimes. Yeah, it's awesome. It's great. Shock Assault uses firefight ploy when a friendly Angel of Death operative is performing the fight action during an activation in which it performed the charge action at the start of the resolve action dice step. A lot of words. Until the end of that action, its melee weapon has the shock rule. The first time you strike during that sequence, inflict 1 additional damage to a max of 7. That's really good. Yeah, real good. Super good. So, pretty cool stuff there. Wrath of Vengeance. Use this firefight ploy when a friendly Angel of Death operative is counteracting, baby. It can perform an additional 1 AP action for free during that counter action, but both actions must be different. So you can't shoot, or fight. But you can charge fight, you can fight, shoot, you can fight, charge. Like you can tap, fight. Or you couldn't do that, but you could fight, then tap. Yeah, so many things. This is the best ploy they have, in my opinion, by a mile. It's awesome.
And if you didn't make the connection, that's the chapter reliquaries one. That's what makes that so powerful. Like that's the connection.
It was great.
I think if you're
it used to be a great one in the last edition. It used to be like fight, but this is even better. Charge and fight and anything. Yeah,
this is what you're building your battle plan around, partially, in my opinion, for this one. Like Nemesis Claw, like there are some ploys there that you're building. Like you're playing for Vox Scream, you're playing for Proclivity for Murder. This team, you are playing around Wrath of Vengeance. It's great. So a great set of strategic and firefight ploys.
Yeah,
much better than the old Intercession squad. I think because you used to waste 3 on one of them. I think it's a real solid suite of gambits. Yeah, real good.
All right, we'll jump in and start.
Snake. This is a solid suite.
Some of your best. We'll jump in and have a look at the operatives.
I'll see you boys at the bank. See you boys at the bank.
Oh lordy. The Space Marine captain, no longer Justian. He's now nameless. It's your choice. You give him a name. You create the character. Obviously got the standard 3 APL, standard 6-inch move, 3 up save, 15 wounds. And the captain does have the plasma pistol and the power fist. I mean, the biggest probably hit straight away to this operative is the downgrade to the plasma pistol. It's not.
Yeah, I've got a shout out. I don't know if he's still in the chat, but shout out to Show You My Nads. Eric in the chat. He is still lamenting the changes to. I hate that he makes me say whenever we have to mention him, we have to say that name out loud. What a crime against humanity! Show You My Nads. But yeah, he is lamenting the plasma pistol change. So RIP. Pour one out for Eric. It does hurt a little bit, but the flip side is power fist on 3s. Nobody else gets that. That's pretty sweet.
That's right. Yeah. So balance, swings and roundabouts.
I feel like he should be 16 wounds to set him apart from the sergeants. You know what I mean?
Well, once per battle, though, his Iron Halo allows him to ignore normal damage. Once per battle. So
yeah, good. He's only just a scratch.
Like he's got a little bit. Yeah, he's got a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, he's also. You know what? I'll quiet down. I'll shut up. That was you. That was you in a roundabout way saying shut up and sit down. Well, I'm already sat, so I'll just shut up.
Well, how about you get out then? How about that?
We knew it was going to get toxic tonight, boys. We knew it. Ben's unwell. Russ is rowdy. It's a recipe for disaster.
Back.
And we've got heroic leader. So what even does this one do? Reese, tell us what this does.
Yeah, so once per turning point, you can use a firefight ploy for 0 CP if this is the specified Angel of Death operative, excluding command reroll, or the adjust doctrine firefight ploy for 0 CP if this operative is in the kill zone and not within control range of enemies.
So he can do shock assault for free or transhuman physiology for free.
Or, I mean, Wrath of Vengeance, but you will take the equipment that gives you that. Yeah. But shock assault's good, but it just means he's 6'7" brutal with stun. With shock.
With shock, yeah.
6'7" shock's not bad. Like, if you were in a rough place with him.
Yeah, well, for those who might not know, shock, the first time you strike with critical success in each sequence, also discard one of your opponent's unresolved normal successes. So pretty powerful.
Or I think this also works if they only have crits. You can parry a crit, I believe.
Ooh,
so if they only have crit
correct.
Successes,
so one of their critical successes if there are none. Correct.
Yeah. Right. So they've changed it a little bit so that if you were against someone who only had crits, but I think the likelihood of that's still rough. But
So Space Marine Captain, TLDR on this guy, he likes to buff himself. He's more of a I'm gonna jump in your face, jump down your throat, and I'm gonna punch you real hard. Go out swinging. Like this is a sacrificial. This is the queen that you sacrifice in chess for a big trade. Like this guy's his lifespan is like turn 3 at max.
I think this is the Carnifex. Yeah,
for sure. But the other option, the one that I kind of think is pretty interesting, boys, the Assault Intercessor Sergeant over here. He's got he's got, as Russ would say, the solid suite of melee weapons. Hand flamer, bolt pistol, plasma pistol, chainsword, power fist, thunder weapon, power weapon, thunder hand, whatever.
Thunder weapon power.
Thank you. Yep. So I think you're gonna take the power weapon every time on this guy. No question. And a heavy bolt pistol, because that's pretty good. And so his abilities, the Doctrine Warfare, whenever you would use the Combat Doctrine strategic ploy and then select assault or tactical, operatives in the kill zone cost nothing. It's free. That I think is really, really good. So that is the in melee and the within 6 inches. That's really good. That's a free CP. That's basically gain an extra CP, right?
That's pretty good, especially if you're running a lot of the same type of, like, I mean, you say you're going White Scars, you might go a lot of Assault Intercessor.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, that just, real good.
Yeah. Makes sense. And then think about this, Chapter Veteran, at the end of the select operative step, if this operative is selected for deployment, select one additional chapter tactic for it to have for the battle. Unlike primary and secondary chapter tactics, you don't have to select the same on each battle. So this guy can be have resolute and aggressive and dueler, or resolute and dueler and mobile, or hardy, or like this guy is going to be a tank, dude, like an absolute unit on the battlefield. Yeah. And so I don't know if you can tell the one that I like the best, but spoiler alert, I think it's this guy.
Just quickly too, in terms of the loadout as well, because obviously Ben, you highlighted heavy bolt pistol and power weapon. There are some caveats. You can choose either the hand flamer or the heavy bolt pistol, and then you can take chainsword, power fist, power weapon, or thunderhammer. Or if you want to take the plasma pistol, your only option then is the chainsword. So there are some restrictions on why Ben was highlighting the bolt pistols, the winner there for sure.
Yeah, plasma pistols, and you can shoot twice with it. And like plasma pistols, if you're going into 8 wound operatives, maybe it's marginally better because you likely won't shoot twice with it. But like, I think even moving up and double tapping with a heavy bolt pistol, like that's going to take a chunk out of something.
Yeah, absolutely.
P1, real good. Or piercing crits 1, pardon me.
You can't shoot twice with a plasma, can you though?
No, I'm saying with a bolt pistol. Like,
bolt pistol's the choice.
Yeah, I think it is the heavy bolt pistol.
Yep.
And
it's interesting though that.
Sorry, guys.
No, I was going to say if you're moving on to the the intercessor sergeant, are we moving on?
Yes, take us away.
I think.
Because it seems weird because it feels like they're trying to make you want to take this guy. I feel like this is the guy they're saying, hey, maybe you should, because he doesn't seem to be as limited in what he can take. He doesn't get a plasma pistol, but in the advent of plasma pistols being less good, this guy can take a bolt rifle, a full-on bolt rifle, and then a power weapon.
But
like it's
Big difference though. 4 attacks versus the 5.
Yes, I was going to say he's less effective with both, but it's an interesting one to be like. I like that they're trying to give it as an option, because I think when you look at it, you're like, well, the captain's an absolute beat stick of a model. He's got a built-in not feel the pain, a built-in just a scratch. He's going to be doing a lot of personal damage. And then you go, assault intercessor, although it's the same for the other guy.
Also a lot of emotional damage.
Oh, I mean, all the emotional damage. He is leaving people crippled, hurt, weeping, lonely. You know what I mean? He's there. He's there for
widows.
it.
So many widows.
So many widows. So many widows.
So many orphans.
But all the orphans. This guy ran into the Waynes, for all we know. But the intercessor sergeant, he's got a decent stat line.
It's pretty good.
I know it's 4 attacks on both, but you could be and again, I think this completely plays to the hobbyist in me, where I'm thinking this guy feels like my Saul Tarvitz of the Emperor's Children. He's a line officer, but he's good at everything. He's not a Lucius, which is my assault sergeant. He's not as good in combat, but you know what? He's going to hold his own until he can fall back for 1 AP and double tap. You know what I mean? And I like the fact that they put it in and they're like, you know what? Maybe you want to run this guy. And he's still a bit of a bad guy because he's got a bolt rifle that he's shooting with, and you're probably not going to take the starter because of all the orphans. Yeah, he's got a belt of orphan scalps, and then he pulls out the power fist, and he can still punch with the power fist.
They're not orphans anymore.
No. They're memories. The tears in the wind. That's what they are now. As he just wipes the tears away with the power fist, and you know what? Guess what? He wasn't gentle enough. Ben, you've got no nose. Smang, there he goes, gone. But a power fist. And he's your more typical power fist because he's 4s, hitting on 4s, 5s, 7 brutal. But the fact that you can take that and a long range weapon's pretty good. It's not terrible. And I know I would probably take the assault. I'm either the assault or the captain, and probably the assault. But the Saul Tarvitz in me, the line officer that's got a bit of gumption, is thinking maybe an intercessor sergeant be too bad. I like it as an option.
Yeah, I think it just comes down to, are you running more assault intercessors or more regular intercessors? And then you pick the sergeant. That's an easy choice at that point, I think, which is cool.
Is it worth having a quick look to obviously the 3 bolter types there? You've got the auto bolt rifle, bolt rifle, and stalker. Yeah. Let's have a bit of a look at them because there's some interesting choices there, especially with this model in particular, because obviously he then also puts you in, he can choose Devastator or Tactical Doctrine for free, blah, blah, blah. So that also adds balance to some of them, which makes them a bit interesting as well. So you've got the auto bolt rifle, 4 attacks, hitting on 3s, 3/4, torrent 1 inch. For me, this feels probably Into the Dark is good, but still probably maybe the weaker of the 3 for me.
Probably weaker. I might run it Into the Dark. If you're Into the Dark, one of those rooms when you got 2 people hiding behind, if you got Saturate and they're hiding behind a light, you know what I mean? You could run it, Saturate, Torrent, and that's quite not bad. Yeah. I quite like it. Into the Dark only though.
Shooting 4 times? Yeah,
exactly. I'm only doing Into the Dark on that though.
You've got the regular bolt rifle, 4 hitting on 3s, 3/4 damage, piercing crits 1. So obviously not too shabby. We'll take that.
Yeah.
And then lastly is the Stalker. So the Stalker is interesting. It's got the 2 profiles. It's got a heavy one.
That's the killer.
And a mobile. The Stalker is basically your bogs. The mobile version is just a bog standard 4 attacks, 3s on hitting on 3s, 3/4. The heavy version is where it gets interesting. Lethal 5 up. Piercing crits 1, but heavy dash only.
And it's 3/5.
This is a big glow up. This is a real big glow up. I almost think you take this.
I think so too.
Just so good. Again, not every time you shoot it, but if you think about, okay, I need to end this, turn 1 activation 3 inches away from something so I can dash and double tap. Because if it was 3/4, maybe you just go your piercing crits bolt rifle. But 3/5 lethal 5, that's something you ride home to.
Hey, maybe you've taken siege and sharpshooter, so you've got lethal 5, piercing crits, severe, saturate. So that lethal 5 with your severe gets. It's just
gross, dude.
It can be kind of nice. The fact that it's got 2 profiles is great. because then you don't lose out on the fact that, I'm not as mobile as I used to be. You can still move and double tap something quite reliably with a 3/4. But if you manage to be able to get within range to just dash and do it, you got piercing crits and lethal 5 as well, and then 3/5 damage. And the fact that it's 5 damage and you've got lethal 5, it's just
so good.
The chance of you doing
in counteract
20 damage
count as the heavy profile too in counteract. If you're shooting in counteract.
I think you're fine. I think you can shoot it. It's not. It's outside of your activation. It's outside your activation.
Yeah,
I think they cleared up the guard. You can still do
on the heavy, wouldn't you? So you can counteract in the better shooting profile. That's awesome.
And with that Angel of Wrath of Vengeance, move and shoot.
Yeah, this is real good. I think you just take and the move is only 2-inch move, so you could dash.
You definitely counteract is definitely going to be a move and shoot with a Stalker's heavy profile.
Pretty good.
Yeah, I think
we're now in the Stalker. Nobody used to take the Stalker, but now I think in the Stalker meta, boys. This is excellent.
Stalker meta. And close combat, we're thinking still this would be power weapon. There's no reason that close combat weapon would change.
Got to be power weapon.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we've got the Assault Intercessor, and I think we'll wrap in the Assault Intercessor Grenadier here because they're basically the same operative.
The same thing.
It's just one. The Grenadier option obviously gives you access to the Grenadier special rule. They can use frag and crack grenades. Doesn't count towards being limited, which is really, really nice. And you also improve the hit stat by 1 when they use Grenadier.
So you hit on 3s, I think.
Yeah.
Makes it to shooting like a Space Marine, which makes sense.
Basically.
The Assault Intercessor is 3 APL, 6-inch move, 3-inch save, 14 wounds. Chonky boy. He's got the heavy bolt pistol, which has the 8-inch range, piercing crits 1. And he's armed with the chainsaw, 5 attacks, hitting on 3s, and 4/5, which is just such good damage. That's 7 wound operatives are in trouble.
It's nothing special, but it's just very efficient. Like it's not flashy, but it's efficient, and you can get rid of
firing twice, shooting twice.
Yeah, and the heavy bolt pistol is just like last edition. I was a big fan of it as well because P1. Like on 4 dice,
so good.
Like if you're shooting twice, one of those times it's gonna be piercing 1. 8-inch range now too. So I love this guy. This to me is what I'm leaning heavy on is the Assault Intercessor chassis. And if you're gonna take him, one of them might as well be the Grenadier, just because grenades are not as good as they used to be. But like there's gonna be use cases for them. So
you don't 100%. Lose anything for having it, which is the best part. And again, the frag grenades, ITD stuff, or even in Hive Storm as well. Get in Volcus, getting in that terrain as well.
That's a good point.
There's some case points that it'll pop up probably more than you'll be like, oh, okay, that's actually going to be pretty good. So also too, I mean, obviously just a great blank slate operative that very clearly all get pumped up really, really well by your chapter tactics as well. They become bigger than their stature.
If you're taking mobile, you got these dudes not locked in combat ever, which is just great. That's good.
Moving on, we've got the Eliminate Sniper. So this is where we're going to get into the gunner choices here. So
Eliminator,
you guys
hardly know her, dude.
Take the gloves off. Unfortunately, the biggest hurt thing no longer known as Flavor Flav.
Am I right?
Intercessed him as well. Hey, sorry, Chris.
That's fine. You guys talk amongst yourselves. So Eliminate Sergeant, no longer known as Flavor Flav. He is now just a no-name.
I miss Flavor Flav.
I love Flav.
I miss the names a little bit. I do miss the names. But I guess we can now make our own names up, but I might still call him Flavor Flav.
The sniper was called Brother Flavian, a.k.a. Flavor Flav.
Oh, I don't miss the names. I hated that. I hated that.
It was like Decium, Marius. Marius felt a bit weird to me.
Yeah.
But, I just think of Les Mis.
Was Luigi's in there as well?
Luigi's.
Yeah.
Yeah, Marius was here. Waluigi's.
Marius and Luigi's. Yeah. Okay, moving on. So this guy does have, as is happening with a lot of the gunner operatives now, he does have a bolt pistol. So it opens up some options there in terms of
I like that.
Shooting shenanigans. He's got the bolt sniper rifle, has 3 different firing profiles. Quickly go through. Bolt sniper rifle executioner, 4 attacks hitting on 2s, 3/4, heavy dash only, saturate, seek light, and silent. You've got the bolt rifle with a hyper fang, 4 attacks hitting on 2s, 2/4 damage, blast 1, heavy dash only and silent. And then the mortis rounds, 4 attacks, hitting on 2s, 3/3, devastating 3, heavy dash only.
That's a sniper.
Piercing 1 and silent. He does have, unfortunately, only fisticuffs for close combat, so hopefully he doesn't have to worry about that.
That's awesome. This guy rules. Also, he has, just to note, his stats are a little bit different because he is a Phobos Marine.
Yeah.
He has a 7-inch move and only 12 wounds. So he's less tanky, but he's zippy. Like 7 inches, pretty sweet.
It means you can pretty reliably get him to a good position turn 1. Yeah. You've got 10-inch move effectively with this guy. So you should be able to get into a decent spot to then silent shoot potentially for the rest of the game.
Because he's one of the few sniper operatives now that's silent and stays silent too, because a lot now it's like a limited thing. Also, obviously, he does have the less wounds. He's still got a camo cloak. So obviously, basically, he's getting to ignore the saturate rule.
I like this one.
Read this one out, Reese. This is so good.
Yeah, so camo cloak. Whenever an operative is shooting this operative, ignore the saturate weapon rule, which is nice. This operative has the stealthy chapter. If this operative has this stealthy chapter tactic, you can do both of its options, i.e. retain 2 cover saves, 1 normal and 1 crit
and 1.
as well.
So every time you're getting shot, you can retain a crit and 2 normal successes, and no one can take away your cover. I mean, it is insane. It is insanely survivable there. Unless your opponent's running all... And when is he shooting you? You're silent. Yeah. When are they shooting? You're probably going to be obscured, so they're not getting any crits anyway, but whatever. You know what I mean? It's very good. That basically means you're saving all 3. And there's unlikely you're going to be getting hit with more than 4 dice. So if you get hit with 4 dice, they then remove 1 if you're obscured. And you're just like, it doesn't matter. You've got no crits. I save all. He's cool. It's very cool. It's a lovely little thing. I mean, it's horrible, but it's lovely.
He's also got the 1 AP option, which you'll probably be doing every turn in between shooting silently, which is optics, which lets you ignore obscured as well, which is very powerful, as we know, because especially with the sniper, there's going to be a lot of instances where the boards are dense and they'll be obscuring. We have really powerful operative. I'm a big fan.
Yeah. This is the guy you take. This between him and the heavy intercessor gunner, this is the guy you take. Because compare the stats, right? 3 APL, 7-inch move, 3 up save, 12 wounds. The heavy intercessor gunner, 3 APL, he's got the 3 up save, he's 18 wounds, but he's only got a 4-inch movement.
4-inch movement.
That's
the killer.
It's fair, but it hurts, man. It hurts real bad.
It's not fair. He's got like big armor. He should be able to. He's a heavy intercessor. He should be able to carry that gun. The gun isn't even heavy. You know what I mean?
That's why he has the armor.
Yeah, no.
That's why.
But I guess that's what. Go Ben, take us through him a little bit more, because it does definitely needs explaining why it is heavy, but it's not heavy.
So you just heard the very juicy profile of the Eliminator.
Yeah.
Now let me read you the boring profile of the heavy intercessor gunner.
Wow. That's how you read them.
Again, it's good, right? And just compared to that spicy, juicy sniper. He's got a heavy bolter, focused and sweeping. Focus is 5 attacks on 3s, 4/5, piercing crits 1. And the heavy bolter sweeping profile is 4 attacks on 3s, 4/5, piercing crits 1. Torrent, 1 inch. So this is good. You can shoot it twice. Like that's nothing. Fire hosing out 10 attacks on somebody. That's awesome.
Yeah,
I don't know, Patriarch or whatever. But I just really think that the other option is so awesome. Also, think about if you're in a Devastator Doctrine, you're hitting on 2s with balance. Not many things in this game hit on 2s anymore. So I think that just is so reliable that you're going to get 4 hits a lot of the time and do guaranteed damage. It's way good.
How do you guys feel? Drone made a good point in the chat there about these 2 operatives, though. If we change it up and we go ITD, does it change anything? Does the heavy gunner become a bit more interesting compared to the sniper, or still the same?
Personally, I think for me, the option, the heavy gunner, to be able to move 7 inches and still fire, so potentially move 10 inches and then still fire a bolt pistol, is better than this guy being able to move 7 inches and then shoot once. I think I just like that. The problem with this is in heavy. I've not played Into the Dark on the new edition, so shoot me down in the chat. But with the open doors, if you're on the other side of a door, because of the width of the door, quite a lot of your shooting will end up being obscured if you're shooting through the doors. So it means, sadly, piercing crits isn't going to happen loads. I'd almost, because you've got to retain a crit for it to count. So it sort of feels like if this guy's shooting at anyone that's obscured, that piercing rule doesn't come up. I don't know. I still think I would go. Someone did say it in the chat. Show you my nads. I've said his name again. I know you love it, Ben. They did clarify that you can move, dash, and go on guard with this guy. So you can still set him up in a good position, which is better than it used to be. So it's not bad. I don't mind him, but I do kind of like the sniper. I do think the sniper's probably who I would be picking. Just the versatility is quite useful. Plus, if you're going into the dark, you've got the hyper frag. And I know what you mean. Seek light is just super useful as well. I mean, if it was just Seek, behind the barricades.
Seek light. Oh, I can see you down. So I see you down the hallway. I pop my optics. Yeah, and I shoot you, and I ignore it. Like, you think you're safe down there? You're not. Yeah,
you're not obscured. You're not behind light. It's pretty nice. And and like I say, worst case scenario, if you need to reposition, he's got the movement to do it. He's the most maneuverable, and he's still got a bolt pistol.
And goes on guard as well.
Double tapping? Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
Awesome.
And then speaking of, go for it, my friend.
I was going to say, the last operative would probably do the same thing as the old assault intercessor before. We've got the intercessor himself, and there is a gunner variant and just a warrior variant. Only difference here being that obviously the gunner has the auxiliary grenade launcher, so it gives you frag or crack options. So we're all pretty used to that. And obviously, again, we're making those same choices with the bolt weapons. Are we still sticking with a stalker on this guy?
I think so, man. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I think there's a call for Into the Dark with a torrent, but maybe not. I mean, I like that just because depending on your team, if you're into like a cults team or a team that's going to be hiding behind the solitary barricades, and you're like, you know what, that is worth it to get within 2 and just torrent a bunch, because I like that it's torrent 1 as well, so it means you can get within 2 and then just shoot, move, dash within 2, get them both with your torrent. It's quite nice.
Yeah, really good. Yeah.
So now now having a look at all that stuff, I guess the big thing we need to let people walk away from today, what is our all-comers, or what's the start list, or what's the list you guys are taking?
I think we might be agreed on the leader.
Yes, I think
maybe so. It'd be hilarious if we say, let's just say it and we all pick a different one. But I'm going to say that I think for the sheer amount of flex that this guy has, you're probably going to go Assault Intercessor Sergeant because of the 3 chapter tactics and the fact that you can tool them up, although you probably want to go power weapon, heavy bolt pistol, because that's a nice amount of damage. And you've got other things that can make you 5/7, lethal 5 with your power weapon. If you really need to kill a 7 wound model in 1 hit, you can do it. And 5/7's a good kind of, it's not a great split because obviously if you can go, is it just the first time you strike, you become +1 damage? First time. So you could effectively with lethal 5, let's say you're being a 7/6, so that's 13, which is just 1 point shy of where you need it to be really to kill an elite in 2 hits, but it's pretty close. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's not bad. It's about as good as it's going to get. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think,
So Assault Intercessor is our default pick. I think there's good situations for the other ones. And then are we all going Eliminator?
Yeah, I think we mathed and nutted that out. I'd be feeling very confident the Eliminator is the way to go in most situations. Yep.
And then I don't know about you guys, I'm taking an Intercessor Gunner with grenade launcher, all that stuff, just because it's too good. And then after that, I'm taking 1, not Assault. 2, but 3 Assault Intercessors, and I'm going to run them down your throat.
One's the Grenadier.
And one of them's the Grenadier. Yeah.
Good point. And I'm just going to run them at you. And turn 2, they're going to hit you hard, or maybe turn 3, depending on the map, all the kind of stuff. And then if you somehow break through that line, you can say hi to Mr. Eliminator and make your wife a widow.
I think that's a good all-comers list because I think it removes. I think you can have a little mini gun line, but I don't think you've got enough operatives to have too much of a gun line. So I think if you commit to a play style, having support gunning from the Eliminator and then having a much more aggressive, because with the 8-inch shooting and the fact that there's reduced objective, so it's only 3 objectives, so you kind of do have to move. You're going to move to your backline objective, and you can maybe have your Eliminator or an Operative back there doing stuff you need on that, and then you kind of need to be moving to the middle board to secure the second objective, and then press into your opponent's deployment to get the third. And I mean, I think the Assault are going to be close enough to shoot twice reliably with a P1.
Yeah, heavy bolt pistol.
A P1 heavy bolt pistol.
Exactly.
And then be able to deal with any combat threat your opponent might throw at you. Because every team's got those combat units. But if you've got 3 combat units and then a leader that's combat, I mean, it's just... Yeah, I think you stand a good chance of having a decent game, playing it pretty cagey. And if you also choose chapter tactics that lend to that, and you can flex them like we talked about. So you probably, maybe we want to talk about I think we said what we think our go-tos are, but a resolute, and then maybe you flex stealthy turn 1 and hit mobile turn 2, and then you are just racing through your opponent.
Resolute sounds like it's nearly if they're the closest to an auto, because just not being able to have the APL and other teams' access to stun is very, very viable. Like there's lots of ways to do it. So resolute, and then as you said, flexing into is it you bring in jeweler later in the game when you need it, but you're taking Hardy earlier or whatever. Like there's some real nice stuff there. I think too for me the secret MVP in a lot of matches, I reckon, because of the way this list is built, I genuinely reckon will be the gunner. If you give them the Stalker with their auxiliary grenade launcher, like if that's the combo, because they're nearly like the forgotten threat. Like those assault guys are going to put so much pressure, and your opponent's going to be so worried about them. That dude just dropping around, just picking dudes off left, right, and center. Like, and again, because the shooting threat they're worried about is the sniper. So it's nearly, this is going to be this guy that they just kind of forget, and he's just going to do some work, I reckon.
Yeah.
I think it's super solid setup.
Yeah, I think that's how you run them. And then if you're playing the team, you just take all the equipment that is their faction equipment, and you try and base your game around. I mean, maybe because you can't bop objectives generally when you're in combat. So I think a nice way of shutting down an opponent is to not forget you've got Wrath of Vengeance for free with your faction tag op. So you can charge someone into an objective that has yet to be bopped so that they can't bop it, kill them and bop it in combat. And it's just stuff like that that's just going to be frustrating, I think, for your opponent if you are Wrath of Vengeancing it with a bunch of assault minis. Is going to be fun for you and no bueno for them.
This got me very excited. I was thinking when I first sort of saw the starter set box and was looking at the Angel Death rules, originally in my brain, I think sometimes you do get caught up in that Ultramarines, it's just Space Marines mindset. But Ben's fiery rhetoric at the start of the thing did remind me that Space Marines are still the coolest, and these rules make them feel like the badass Space Marines they should be. You know, like
they really do,
some real flavor in here. Some real fun. They can be super aggressive, super shoot, whatever you kind of want. I think I'm going to have to be giving these guys a bit of a run for sure.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Nice. Well, look, I think that's as good a spot as any. We've answered the question. We've read through the playbook. Ben needs to go fall in a heap. Russ needs to go have a good hard look at his decisions regarding pickled goods. And I have to go to work. So we've all got things to do. Finish your beetroot juice there, Russ. Thank you as always to the legendary Ben from Battle Brothers Tabletop. Thank you for soldiering through today, my friend.
Thank you. Anytime. We've got I just wanted to pop it up here. We have the people, the good folks of Kill Team Casuals are clamoring for some Legions of Rust. I think we have to make a pledge that next time.
I've got 2.
We'll have to hit them with some Legions of Rust next time.
Next time, we will definitely make sure that there is a Legions of Rust corner, specially aside for everyone, because we know it's been a while. So we're definitely very, very keen.
I feel we could throw one to them now, but I don't know how we'd work it. You know what I mean? I could be like, here it is. Come in next episode. and guess at the start of the episode?
No, save it. We want it. We want official.
We'll save it. We'll save
regulation. Legions of Rust. We don't want to waste the good
Next
stuff.
episode, we've got two ready for you, ready and waiting.
Deep Fatty did just guess Celestial
Loins.
Yeah.
God damn. You know what? It would have been if it might be now. You know what I might start doing? Just making up chapter names and throwing them in, see if anyone knows. Celestial Loins would have definitely been one. I might start doing that. You know what? I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to start throwing them in, and you get an extra bonus point if you correctly, but you lose. It's a gambit. If you say, I don't think that was a real one, and you're wrong, you lose a point. But if you were right, you gain a point.
Oh, I like that, to cut out the
throwing
Uzi
it in
shenanigans.
there. Yeah,
I like
you
it.
know what? As a secondary guess, so you both guess at the end. Do you think I made this Legion up, or do you think it's a real Legion?
I like this. I'm in for this.
The game has evolved. It has evolved.
It has to.
Season 3.
Season 3, baby.
Season 3. Edition 3 of Legions of Russ. Damn right.
And thank you for passing it over to Russ from Threes to Gaming, GFN Gaming.
Threes to Gaming. Thank you very much, Tabletop Brother. I'm here at the Casual Kill Teamers. I'm saying thank you to me. Good luck to me. Bona Fortunas. Good luck to the chat. And good luck to Reese. Games to 3.
Perfect. Legends in the chat. Thank you so much for joining us for the whole show. If you're listening in the podcast, we love having you us in your ear holes throughout the show. So thank you for welcoming us in. If you haven't, make sure you support us on the Discord. Sorry, on Battle
Thank you
Brothers
for
Discord.
welcoming us in.
Yeah,
I loved it.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm welcoming you into my
welcome.
ear holes. Yeah.
I'm
Please.
very welcome.
If you're not, stop it. I'm trying to wrap the show. Stop it. You've had enough. You're done. You've had too much pickle juice.
You
gone
cut
silly.
off. You cut off.
You cut off. I'll close your mic if I have to. If you haven't already, or you would like to help us going forward, make sure you join the Patreon as well. Casual War Gamers Patreon goes a long way to helping the show as well. So I'm going to stop talking because it's not getting any better.
Thank God. Would you please?
We'll see you all next time. We're having a talk in the green room about this, guys.